Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for being here today, and I apologize that we couldn't hold a daily press conference yesterday. As you know, we were entertaining the Vice President of the United States, and I'm going to preface this by starting off first to thank all of the employees, staff, first responders, not only from the city of Augusta, but the thousands that are here helping us get through this hurricane relief. As you know, Vice President Kamala Harris announced that we're eligible for 100% reimbursement as a result of this catastrophic storm. And that's just truly amazing. I will recall having some conversations with people about our last incident with the ice storm, and we struggled to get reimbursement. So she came bearing great news, and that is certainly welcome news. Our bottled water supply is increasing. So as you know, early on we were struggling with just trying to provide bottled water. We brought in a bunch of potable water tankers. That's been well received. So I just left one of the points of distribution out at Southgate, and I'm amazed that now we seem to be getting our sea legs under us, and that we have the resources, we have the National Guard, we have the Marshals Department deployed, and that process is up and running smoothly. Not only are they distributing bottled water, but they're distributing ready-to-eat meals as well as ice. We have pallets of ice that's out there, so for those of you who may need that, Southgate has that. I think Diamond Lakes continue to have the same resources, and our third distribution point is down at the depot on the Savannah River. Regarding electricity, as of last night, Georgia Power is reporting 69% of electricity has been restored, and they're starting the day at 39%, about 40% of residents that are still experiencing no electricity, let me say that properly. As I ride around town in the evenings, I realize that things are somewhat getting back to normal. More restaurants are open, there's more accessibility to gas. We've never had a problem on a supply of gas. We just had stations that didn't have power, but you'll probably see more of those coming online. I actually drove from this location to Wrightsboro Road along Washington Road corridor. All of their lights are working, which is great, and they're operational. So that's just a sign of the improvements that are being made. We still have some challenges in some of our, what I want to say, disadvantaged communities. And over the next couple of days, and starting now, that's going to be our focus. We're going to have a lot of press conferences centered around now how we get to them, because we realize not everyone has transportation to make it to these what they call pods. So tomorrow we're going to have a couple of great distribution points, not only to our regular assignment, but we have our faith-based partners that are going to be joining into the process of making sure we get food, water, and some other things distributed. As you can imagine, with a disaster like this, everybody says that there's always opportunities for scams. So I just want to announce a couple, in that if anyone is approaching you saying that they're FEMA authorized and they can clean up your debris, that is not true. So don't fall for that. The only people I know that's actually doing work now are private hired contractors that's not working on behalf of FEMA. That process will start next week. I think I'll have Dr. Malik to come up and talk a little bit about that process. The FEMA process is up and running. I think you can go online and apply to get $750 for the replacement cost of food. Wes Bonds is not here, and I'm going to talk about water for just a second. I can't talk as intelligently as he can, but I can assure you that our water situation is greatly improved. Our pressures are coming up. I don't know what percentage, but it's a high percentage of our water customers are back online, and they're experiencing water in their homes. We still continue to be under the boil water advisory. Let me advise that. But we're just in the process of evaluating that to see at what point can we get off of the boil water advisory. Hopefully, fingers crossed, it's not a matter of days, perhaps hours. We're waiting on some guidance from the state. Regarding curfew, and this is important, realizing that we have more electricity, more signals that are operating, we're going to extend the curfew. We're not going to end. So extend the curfew to 10 p.m. So those who may be getting off late as people start return to work, those who need to get gas in the evenings, We have more signals working, so we feel confident and comfortable in extending. We're going to keep it in place because we still have some concerns at some areas that are dark. Some homeowners have concerns about potential looting. We haven't had any cases of that. We want to make sure that we keep everyone safe and sound. And at this point, I'm going to turn it over to Chief Burton. He's going to give you some updates regarding our EMA response. One last thing before I forget. We realize it's day 7 now. A lot of people have been without power, and as you can imagine, your refrigerators are probably starting to grow green with all of the food and everything that's in there. The city of Augusta, in conjunction with the mayor's office and the commission, we're going to waive landfill fees just for food waste. This is very important. Food waste. So if you have food that's in your freezers and your refrigerators, you can take it to our landfill at no cost. You will have to show a Richmond County ID. That is only for Richmond County residents. And keep in mind that as you take that food, it's only food waste. Don't include it with yard waste or garbage or anything, because this FEMA process is very extensive. So if you have yard waste, we highly encourage you not to take it to the landfill, to take it to the right-of-way at the front of your property and pile it there, because in order for the city to get reimbursed, all of that will have to be accounted for, and there's an extensive auditing process. There's an extensive process to how it's done, and we don't want to endanger our chances of receiving that 100% reimbursement. So it's very, very sensitive and very, very important that you properly dispose of debris. You can't mix it with appliances. You can't mix it with construction debris. It has to be just a simple tree limbs, leaves, and things of that sort. So with that said, I'm going to turn it over to Chief Burton, and we'll come back for a few questions. We're not going to go as long as we normally do because people have said I don't have that much battery power, and we just want to get to the point. So Chief Burton.
Good afternoon, everyone. Just wanted to take an opportunity to provide you with just a few updates. First and foremost, I want to inform our citizens that currently we are not accepting clothing donations. So in any event that you go to one of our pod sites, you may be turned away because we are not accepting clothing donations. Our community strike teams are out in the community. They are providing critical resources to those in dire need, including restricted transportation, support for individuals who are unable to get or access to our pod sites. As the mayor mentioned, we are pleased to announce that we have ample water supply, bottled water and or potable water available for our citizens. Our electricity, so we are at 69%, as the mayor mentioned. Progress is being made by the hour. That is a far cry from where we started yesterday morning at 39%. So progress is being made. I want to thank our partners at Augusta University. We've teamed up with them to establish a distribution hub where we're receiving goods as a point of distribution out and into the community, into our pod sites. So thank you, Augusta University. I want to alert our community of scams. We know that they're out there. Be cognizant, be prudent as it relates to that. Before you sign anything, please check with your local officials. And for those scammers that are out there preying on our community, we know you're there. We have a team looking for you. National Guard support. So we have 75 additional National Guard members on ground today, specifically at our point of distribution sites, helping to manage and distribute goods. And then finally, I want to conclude by thanking the men and women of Augusta Fire Department. They have been tremendous during this effort. Friday morning, when this tragic hurricane hit us, we were out. I had an opportunity to visit with one of our shelter locations where I spoke with a mother. And what she told me really just stuck with me. She told me that in the midst of darkness, what she saw when she looked up was those lights from the fire truck. And it gave her some comfort. And so our men and women, they have been working 36 hours. Each shift has been 36 hours long for them. And they have been there. So if you see a firefighter, please thank them. We're here for you, and we will be here for you until the end. So thank you. Thank you all for being here.
Next, we're going to have Dr. Hamid Malik. He's going to come up and talk about, very briefly, the yard waste and the food waste.
Yeah, good afternoon. So the garbage pickup service fully resumed. We're calling it a recovery week. So there may be hit and miss, and also the area is still not accessible. But other than that, all 4 type of waste are being picked up, which is household waste, yard waste, bulky waste, and recyclable. Household waste and recyclable probably got mixed up, not being picked up. So right now we're treating both as a household waste, and they're going to be picked up same time and go to the landfill. I confirmed this morning, actually, they're going above and beyond. They're also picking up some of the extra bags and the waste food, and also we're doing our best, and hopefully by Monday it's going to go to the regular schedule. This week they are day lag, like a few days. Is that Thursday, so they're picking up Wednesday. But it's a recovery week, so it's gonna be hit and miss. But we're fully functional. We have both CNG gas station operational. We have some issues with the power, so that's what we're doing. So thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Malik. Next, we're going to have Steve Castle with ISM. ISM is helping us to recover from this by assisting us with debris removal. Steve?
Hi, thank you, Steve Castle with ISM. Throughout the storm, starting Friday, we divided the county up into 20 different zones. And so we've had about 40 crews out since Friday, working extensive hours to try to open up all the roads. I think at this point we're substantially complete with the major portion of that road, road opening. There are some areas where utilities impacted it. We're going back and hitting hot spots as Georgia Power comes and restores power, and we're able to push that stuff to the side of the road. There are still several areas out there, but we're addressing them. But as we're doing this, we actually have our debris removal contractor series, and our monitoring contract GMC is arriving in town. So GMC is training the monitors, and the series contractors. You probably start seeing these big trucks parked around. They're going to have to be certified, and the monitors have to be trained. But we're looking at Monday to start picking up debris, and you'll start seeing some major efforts, and it'll ramp up as you go. By the end of next week, you'll be seeing armies of these trucks all over the place. And hopefully, we're looking at, we're thinking about 2 months to get it all cleaned up. I mean, people ask me all the time, is it like the ice storm? It's different. As the only way I can say is that you have pockets of really major damage, and you'll go over and there's nothing. But where it's really bad, it's really bad. But anyway, as the mayor said, you want to put your debris out on the side of the road right now in the right of way. At best you can. Some places it's going to be impossible because stuff already fell and you're just cutting it up and moving it. So stay away from utility locations, especially your water meters, guy wires for the utility poles, storm drains, because it's going to rain at some point during this process, so you can cause some localized flooding that may impact your yard and make things worse. Please don't put your trash together into the debris. It's not that we won't pick it up. It'll take time. It'll delay everything. We're not going to pick up the trash at the same time. We're just going to take it out and throw it back in your yard. And bagged waste, like leaves and things like that, that's not really what this cleanup is for. So typically you want to stay away from the bagged waste. That would be your normal garbage pickup. But we're here for the heavy limbs, heavy debris, and things like that. They can only be dragged out by using several people. So anyway, I'm anticipating that we'll go. Some areas will get 3 passes, some will get 2, but we'll do a quick surge at the beginning and hit the heavy hit areas. Don't don't feel like you have to rush and get everything out right now. Get the big stuff right now, and then we'll be coming back through as we go. And at some point, every road in Augusta will be driven and certified by a contractor that it has been cleaned, and at that point, we're no longer done. So it's high-tech operation, believe it or not. We'll have GPS on every truck, and we'll know exactly where every pile is picked up. So we'll get to you. And I appreciate the opportunity. Thanks.
So just real quick on that note, I want to ensure that our community, as it relates to debris, please don't burn it. Do not burn that debris. We don't want to add poor air quality for those that have respiratory illnesses that can be exacerbated by additional smoke. And just please be safe. Our firefighters, in conjunction with the relief efforts, we've experienced 9 fires, 5 of which happened in one day. So those of you that are without power, ensure that your knobs on your stoves are turned in the off position. And so we're seeing, as power is being restored, that fires are happening as a result of that. So just please practice safe habits at home. If you're using candles, please do not leave them unattended. And whatever you do, please don't go to sleep with those candles lit.
Thank you, Chief. Thank you, Steve. As you know, guys, this response has been overwhelming, especially from the private sector. Very early on, we've had numerous community partners to reach out, and we're just fortunate to have one today. We're going to call them up in just a second, but I just want to note that they were the very first to call. I think Friday morning before noon, they called and had an offer for help. So we're going to let them spend just a few minutes to talk about how they're going to help this community, help us recover from this hurricane. So I'm going to call up Ms. Melinda Little with Comcast.
Thank you, Mayor. Mayor Johnson, first I want to thank you and this incredible crew back here and all the city leaders who have been responding to this hurricane, this tragic, crazy hurricane that showed up out of nowhere. Our hearts and minds at Comcast are with all of Augusta and all those who have been hit by the storm. As the mayor said, I reached out to him early Friday, and Hillary and Shanique, who are on my team, also have been working with you. We've brought water, but we know you need more, and this is a long recovery. And so we want you to know that we have our crews here working 24/7 to restore services in conjunction with power and other utilities to make sure that the city will be up and running as soon as it can be. But we also know that you're going to need some financial help. And so today, Comcast NBC Universal is announcing a $100,000 donation to the United Way CSRA. We just want to be here. We are your neighbors, and we want to make sure that you all have the best recovery possible. So thank you very much.
All right, so we're going to take a few questions. You interested, Jima, in providing an update, or is there?
Just very briefly.
Okay.
Hi, good afternoon. My name is Mark Sexton. I'm one of the deputy directors at Georgia Emergency Management and Homeland Security Agency. Just like to address the fact that the progress that's been made. I understand there's plenty of folks out there that have not been reached yet. Just know we are working towards you. But positive information is significant improvements in the water flow for the major utility system here in the city. We do have the points of distribution operating. We've got specific hours on those throughout the different locations, and that's based on staffing. We have plenty of food and water and tarps that are now at those locations and more inbound. So if you happen to go by one of those and they don't have a certain commodity when you go through today, please plan to go back by tomorrow. There will be additional items available for you. There's still 3 operational shelters here in the local area, so if you're completely in need of getting a place to sleep, getting a meal, being able to just refresh yourself and get some counseling services and things of that nature, the 3 shelters that, as previously mentioned, are operational. We do have a large number of resources inbound. Much like Comcast here, we've got a large number of organizations, the volunteer organizations active in disaster, have been working diligently to bring additional resources here into town. So there will be some additional hot meals available in the next day or two that are being supplied by those folks. And again, just thanks to all the local cooperation with our state level court work that's been going on here. Our federal partners have been in. We've had FEMA folks. We've had an individual from FEMA here on the ground with you for about 4 days now in the operations center here in Augusta. So just want to thank those groups for continuing the work that they're doing and the additional resources that are coming in. But just understand, if we haven't gotten to you yet, we will be in the very near future. The National Guard soldiers are still out working to clear areas and bring basically small levels of food and water out to individual neighborhoods at this point. That's been one of their focuses this afternoon. So if you haven't seen resources and help in your local area yet, you should probably see those at the latest by tomorrow. Thanks, sir.
Thank you, Mark. We're going to take a few questions, but I'm going to add one thing. So I just want to report that both our Sheriff's Administration building and our jail have been restored to full power. So air conditioning is working. Our inmates are in a much better place. Not only our inmates, but the folks who work the jail, we're in a much better place. I want to talk about the weekend schedule. If you look at a lot of the folks behind me, they've literally been working 16, 20-hour days. We have homes and have damage, and we have loved ones to look after. So we're not going away, but we're probably going to work on an alternating schedule or something, because we do have things to tend to, washing clothes, some of the things that we haven't been able to do. So we'll have coverage, but we need to let some folks go tend to their own private homes. So with that being said, let's open it up for a few questions. We're trying to get this a lot quicker so we can get back to work.
Sir, with Fox Report, is there a better timeline on the bowl advisory? You said it might be a few hours, might be a few days. Can you narrow that down for anyone? Because a lot of people
I can. So I'm gonna repeat the question, because a lot of people online say they can't hear. Is there a timeline on the boil water advisory? There's not a timeline. We're hoping that if we're lucky, if the state approves all the testing that we've been doing, it could be removed sooner rather than later. That's what we're hoping for. But I'm hoping and I'm very hopeful that somewhere between 24 and 36 hours or not sooner. I don't want to overcommit what we're trying to do. All right, next question.
What about the status for some of the folks that have been sitting at home without water? Any guesstimate on, or any percentage of people that are sitting at home without water, and then those that are not with water?
So the question is the status of folks that are sitting home without water. What is the status? Our water system is coming online. It's pressurizing. The far majority of our citizens now, I believe, have water. But keep in mind, 100% of our water is non-drinkable, so you can't drink it. But most of our city, I would confidently say they have water. But there's still pockets where we're still pressurizing the system. Keep in mind, due to the sheer number of leaks as a result of uprooted trees, we still may have some water main issues. So that may present some challenges, but the water system is becoming more and more consistent, and we feel confident that hopefully within the next 24 to 36 hours, everyone will have water and it will be drinkable again. Now, let me add one thing. So our utilities director, Wes Bond, said you may have a slight chlorine smell in the water. Out of an abundance of caution, we've increased the chlorine in the water. It's still drinkable, but that's just to make sure to take care of any of the organisms or whatever that's in the water, make sure everyone's safe. But it is, once it comes online, it will be safe to drink. So if you have a smell of tinge of chlorine, the water will be fine.
One more question.
Yep.
People that are
Let me get to Miguel since he didn't have an opportunity. Miguel.
We've had several people reach out and say that they received messages yesterday that their power outages are going to last much longer, even into next week and a few days. Can you explain to them sort of where that came from and why the extension for so much longer without power?
Yes, so there's a question about the extension from Georgia Power on the power outages. Originally it was October 5th. I think it's now the 10th.
Some are saying 14th.
The 14th. Just due to the sheer amount of damage to our grid is the reason it had to be extended. There was a morning I had the opportunity to tour a facility at the Augusta Mall where there's now an additional 1,000 linemen throughout this community. That's almost 10,000. So their response has been great, but there's still some neighborhoods that are just decimated. And it's more than just power lines. It's transmission lines, it's transformers, it's a lot of things. So, and keep in mind, that forecast is just 95%. Some people may receive power today, or if they haven't already received it. And there may be others that don't receive it until after the 14th or 15th. It depends on the amount of damage in their area. So I'm gonna take one or two more, and then we're gonna call it, because I want to be fair to everybody. So I'm gonna go here first, and Sydney, I'll come back to you. Yes, ma'am.
Has everyone been accounted for, or are there still some people that are missing?
All right. I'm gonna let the coroner come up and answer that, but what I am aware of now, we do have 7 confirmed deaths. I can't say with a 100% certainty that there are people that we haven't reached yet. I feel confidently that most of our neighborhoods, hopefully the neighbors or someone have checked in, but I'm gonna have the coroner, Mark Bowen, maybe he could speak more intelligently just in case. Coroner?
Thank you. We can confirm 7 storm-related deaths. Now, we are expecting maybe to find a couple more, a few more, which we have no control over until we get to them. So right now, all we've got is 7.
All right. I want to also add that the Bell Auditorium is up and operational as a shelter. I'm proud to say that our shelter numbers are coming down, meaning more people are going home. Shelter numbers are down out at Henry Brigham. I was there earlier, and that's a pretty smooth running process. I think our numbers ticked up just a little bit at May Park. I don't know the reason for that, but consistently, night over night, our number of people that's requiring sheltering has gone down. Sydney?
As far as like calling the depot, are you still directing people to 311, or is there another source that people can call?
311 is the best source should you need shelter, any kind of emergency aid, with the exception if there's a serious emergency. 311 is the number. If you need to try to gain access out of your neighborhood, 311 is the number. Last question. Any more?
I got one more.
Okay.
How are you getting the word out and communication-wise? Because a lot of citizens have told me that they are struggling hearing what's going on, updates with the city, the water, infrastructure, everything. They said you're not getting timely information, and it's very delayed or it's inaccurate. How are you getting that out there?
We certainly understand the struggle in that. I myself haven't seen the news since before this incident. We're hoping that enough people have access to their phones. That seems to be the primary way of relaying information through social media. We were doing some emergency alerts. We haven't been doing as many of those, so we highly encourage you to look at the City of Augusta's Facebook page, as well as the Augusta Fire Department, the mayor's page, and there's a lot of information out there. And I know on social media there's a lot of false information. There's a lot of rumors. So you got to kind of decipher what's in the best interest for you and your family. But just know you can have with highest level of confidence that if you go to the mayor's page or your commissioner's page, they're getting out a lot of information too, that you'll be able to get factual information. All right, guys. Thank y'all so much. Stay safe, and see you tomorrow.